Welcome back, dear students, to the next session of project management within the Fluval program. We're still in the project planning, and last time we talked about capacity planning. This time we move over to cost planning. Cost planning, a very important factor because your project owner most probably is focused on the costs, typically has to pay. So this is very interesting for him. What does the project cost? In principle, the cost planning has the same flow or the same principle as capacity planning. We start again with the tasks and identify the costs of each of these tasks. Please take into consideration that there are not only costs for human resources, it's also material, expenses. So sometimes you have investments for projects, like constructing a hotel is an investment, for example. And again, as with the capacity planning, we will identify critical points. With the critical points, this means that we need to create a lot of cost resources at a certain point, or the money is not available at this time, or the whole money is too much, or one phase is especially expensive. What I don't want to go into too much details is the budgeting of projects. You see here just one simple example, because a project budgeting is much simpler than a bookkeeping. You have revenue on one side, which is typically the funding of the project. Sometimes you have sponsors, that's the plus side, the income, the revenue. And on the other side, you have the costs, the expenses, which is typically much bigger than the revenue, or a project typically during the project phase doesn't create revenue. So you see, you have material, you have expenses, you have capital allowance on the investment which you have to pay off with the project, and at the end of the day you have a balance. It's nice if you have a little reserve of money, but typically the balance in a project is negative, because the project is an investment in the future. So if you create a new hotel, you have no revenue. You invest 30-40 million bucks to create the hotel. This is the investment you're doing during the project. Within this money is your workload, the constructors, the material, the everything. And this will be paid off during the operation time of the hotel. The sooner the better. The cost planning is actually a simple process. You just have to estimate the cost of every task. Don't forget the material. Don't forget the workload, the work you're investing, and row it up, sum it up, and you have the cost of the project. Sometimes you have really revenue. If you sell some things in a project, for example, I made students project, they created some revenue. Sometimes you have a project where you have sponsoring or advertising in the project. This can help to fund the project, but typically it's an investment. I don't ask you now to make a budget for your case study, because most of you will not be used to budget the construction of a hotel, but just think about how to operate these things. You just have to understand the mechanics of cost estimation in a project. Actually, it's not complicated. It's just drawing up the costs, estimating the costs for each phase, and that's it. Got it? Any questions, contact me. Otherwise, go for discussion on the forum. Looking forward to your contribution to the discussions. See you soon. Next session will come on. Have a great time. Enjoy it. Bye bye.